What's up, everybody? Welcome to Mass Steeler Fan. And today we'll be talking about a five-star matchup. Historic franchise versus historic franchise. We have the Dallas Cowboys, America's team, coming in to Acrisure Stadium to take on the Pittsburgh Steelers. Dallas Cowboys coming in with a record of 2-2. Pittsburgh coming in off their first loss with a record of 3-1. Pittsburgh Steelers looking to bounce back hopefully this week with a big answer and a big dub in prime time Sunday night football. Let's talk about it. I'm going to go pretty simple, pretty easy today. We'll kind of start off with what I like, what I don't like about this matchup. On both sides of the football, offensive, defense, and then we'll go into a little bit of score prediction and what I believe is going to happen because I do see the future in these games. We are favored in the sports books by 2.5 points. So we're given 2.5 points here at home in Acrisure, which to me is surprising, but I believe there's a reason for that, and we'll just jump right into it, being that the Dallas Cowboys do have some key players out for this matchup. Unfortunate because as a homer to the Steelers, I want to beat the best to be the best, and if you guys don't have your best in there, when I talk shit, it just looks dumb. Dallas Cowboys are having Brandon Cooks out, their second wide receiver, who is a very solid wide receiver too in their room, puts up some decent numbers behind CeeDee Lamb. And then the biggest one that's coming in questionable for this Sunday, and he's been limited to practice, did not practice throughout the week so far with a high ankle sprain. That is their D-end, D-end, Micah Parsons. Big names out this weekend. Some big game changers out. Maybe out. We'll start off with the offense side of the ball right now for the Dallas Cowboys since we're already talking about them. Getting into it with Dak Prescott. I like Dak Prescott kind of as a starting QB. He's a top 10 QB in the league, people would say. I put him in the same category that I put Kirk Cousins in. I'm not the biggest fan of Kirk Cousins. I think they are both very mid QBs. They put up some very good stats. Dak Prescott puts up some very good stats. I believe those stats come in garbage time a lot of the times, i.e. when they're winning by a lot, but majority of the time it's when they're getting killed by a lot in this league. And we'll go into that because their record this year is not that great. I do like Dak Prescott, though. He is a threat. He can make the big plays. He is a splash player. He has a cannon for an arm, and he just can force feed the ball to his number one wide receiver, who is a top 3 wide receiver in this league, and CeeDee Lamb. There's not much to say. Everybody that's watching this video, they know who CeeDee Lamb is. He's arguably the second best receiver in this league. You have Justin Jefferson is undoubtedly number 1. You have Tyreek Hill and CeeDee Lamb right there, number 2. And I would put them interchangeable. You could ask people in their fantasy league who they picked up over who. I chose CeeDee Lamb over Tyreek Hill. That seemed to pay off. Shout out to Tua. I hope everything's good there. Their wide receiver core, the Dallas Cowboys wide receiver core, all in all, I believe is better than the Pittsburgh Steelers. They do have threats all the way around. With that being said, Brandon Cooks is officially out for this matchup. I do not know how well the other receivers are going to play. Outside of CeeDee Lamb on that team, I really don't know the end of the receivers outside of Brandon Cooks as well. They have Jalen Tolbert and Jalen Brooks is what it's looking like. Ryan Florini. He kind of sounds familiar, but that sounds like it's a coach's name I've heard before. So I don't know if that's the reason I'm remembering it or not. CeeDee Lamb's dangerous. I will give them the wide receiver matchup in this game. For sure. Hands down. QB matchup. We'll talk about our QB in a little bit. I don't like Dak Prescott. He's a bit turnover prone. He throws a lot of interceptions every year. A lot of interceptions. But that's just because he's trying to get ball, extend the plays, put the ball where it needs to be. he can make some mistakes. So I'll give us the QB room, but we'll talk about that here in a little bit. Wide receivers, I give it to them. I give it to the Dallas Cowboys. CeeDee Lamb is a dog. He's a monster. He's nasty. He's a threat. We'll go over to the tight end, Jake Ferguson. He is a top tight end in the league, I believe. I hear his name a lot. People love him in the fantasy league. Jake Ferguson is a threat. He is a threat. Our middle of the field last year with our middle of the field last game was a problem for this defense. And as Jake Ferguson being a catching tight end, the guy who he is, he could definitely make some plays in the middle of the field if we are not locking that down or keeping a close eye on him. So that's definitely something to look out for. Jake Ferguson is a guy to be reckoned with. Now, their backup tight ends and everything after that, I don't know how well they're going to do or how well they're going to be. But I give Jake Ferguson. He's a good guy. The running back room is a bit surprising. They have Rico Dole, Ezekiel Elliott as kind of like their tandem for the backfield. Ezekiel Elliott is still kind of a monster in the short yardage situations. He's a big dude, big guy, runs through with a lot of force. So I like the running back room. I think they can cause some problems on the ground. He had a good game last week, I believe Rico did. He kind of stepped up when they needed him to step up. Ezekiel Elliott, he's not going to do too crazy to you, but in short yard situations, he definitely comes alive. He's a big dog, big player, big body. He'll beat you in those situations if you're not careful. Their offensive line seems to be okay. There's not any big people that I can recognize right off the bat when I'm looking at the depth chart right now to see if there's anybody that I fully know. They do have, I believe TJ is going to be coming off of the left side. So they're going to Tyler Gunton. I like our defensive matchup against this line. Said that last week and it came to bite me in the ass. But this starting lineup, their starting O-line doesn't seem to be too crazy. I will give it better than our O-line, being that our O-line is beat up pretty heavily with a bunch of injuries. We got a lot of rookies playing in there, a lot of depth people playing in there, so it's kind of scary. I'll give them their O-line the benefit of the doubt here. Nothing crazy, though. I think TJ and our front's going to eat them up. Nothing too crazy to worry about there. The biggest threats on offense are going to be Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb. We take care of that. We make Dak struggle. We get a little bit of pressure on him. He's going to freak out. He's going to throw those interceptions. We lock up the other wide receivers who seem to be, I can't say no names because I don't want to be, but no names. They're not really going to do too much against our secondary. I believe our secondary is going to be better than them. And then we take care of the tight end. So their offense has a QB, wide receiver, and a tight end. True, that could definitely hurt us, but I believe we can game plan around that and keep them under wraps and keep them under lock. We'll go to our offensive side of the ball now and kind of compare the two since we're talking about it. Justin Fields has officially been given, I don't want to say the start, but Tomlin did come out and say that he's officially game planning around Justin Fields for this weekend. Going him as the number one. And I don't think Russell Wilson will be an emergency QB3 this week. I believe it has been stated, if I believe I saw a post and saw it correctly, that he will come in as QB2. So as a backup, anything happens to Justin Fields, not as emergency QB, not as injured or anything. He will be the QB2. That's interesting, man. There's a lot of topics going on there about what we're going to do with Russ, especially with this Devontae Adams trade. If we can trade Russ for a wide receiver 2, Justin Fields keeps playing good. So it's going to be interesting. I agree with that, though. I do agree. I think we do need to start Justin Fields in this matchup. He has been playing phenomenal football, getting better and better each week. Took a rough L last week. And I think that's another reason why I want to see Justin Fields in this matchup is I want to see how he bounces back. I saw how he bounced back in the game. He came back. He was the only reason we were in that game last week, and he brought us back down 3. Unfortunately, we did not win it. We lost it because of some QB quarterback exchange. So I want to see how he bounces back from that. How does he respond? How does he show up? How does he show out to this game? There's another chance. I say it week in and week out on this channel that Justin Fields has a chance to cement himself in this league, cement himself in a Pittsburgh Steelers uniform for the future, and this is one of those games. He has a veteran QB behind him in Russell Wilson, who's still sitting on the bench, who the team still isn't putting in yet, even though he seems to be somewhat healthy and good enough to go. They're rolling with Fields. And rightfully so. Excuse me. He's playing good football. And out of Dak Prescott or Justin Fields, it's hard to say. It's really hard to say. They both make some stupid errors and stupid moments. I will go with Justin Fields in this matchup. Again, I'm a homer. You could say I'm sucking off the Steelers. And maybe I am. I'll take Justin Fields over Dak Prescott in this QB matchup. For the simple fact being that Justin Fields has a little bit of fire on his ass. He is trying to win this job. He's trying to win a future. Dak Prescott just got paid. He's the highest paid QB, $60 million a year. He's $100 million man. Justin Fields is fighting for something. And he's fighting to keep that position. He's fighting to keep that job. And he's balling out. He's playing the best football I think he's played in his career. Granted, he's been losing, but he's been winning. He lost last week, but he's been winning. So I take Justin Fields. I think he's a little bit more threat-wise in this game than Dak Prescott is with his legs. Justin Fields, it's something you definitely have to account for. So I'll take us in that front. I'll take Justin Fields. Go out there and show us what you can do, Fields. I want you to be QB1. Wide receiver room, George Pickens. Our wide receiver twos haven't been playing bad. Like, we've been having moments in which we need them to step up, and they have stepped up and caught passes in the big moments, gotten open in the big moments. But, I mean, our wide receiver room is still lacking. It's still nothing great. I take the Dallas Cowboys receiver room, even with Brandon Cooks out and me not knowing their backups, over our wide receiver room. CeeDee Lamb, George Pickens. CeeDee Lamb's a better wide receiver than George Pickens. I mean, I'm wearing his jersey, yes, but I'm not that delusional. CeeDee Lamb has put up better numbers. He's played better. He's consistently better. I take the Dallas Cowboys in the wide receiver matchup. That being said, I still think George Pickens is going to get him some this game. He's going against a top corner, George Pickens. You're going against a top corner in this league, Trayvon Diggs, who is a monster. He is a ball hawk. It's something Justin Fields has to look out for. Make him look silly. Make him look dumb. Make him look dumb. I believe in you. I believe in George Pickens, and I like that matchup versus their cornerbacks more than I like Dallas's matchup versus our cornerbacks. Like their receiver room for a whole better, but matchup versus cornerbacks, I like our matchup versus their cornerbacks versus their matchup versus our cornerbacks. Running backs. This is a toss-up. Man, this is a toss-up. Najee hasn't been running that great. Cordell Patterson ran pretty good last week. He got hurt. I believe should be okay to go this weekend. He's been limited and not practicing this week throughout practice. So right now I'm liking Cordell Patterson more than I like Najee Harris. Najee Harris has been what seems to be struggling to see holes in this offensive line, and what seems to be struggling in just running the ball in general, running hard. Doesn't help that our offensive line is kind of shot and depleted, but Cordell Patterson came in and made plays and showed that it can be done if you have the vision to see the hole. Jaylen Warren, I think we're hurting with Jaylen Warren being out because he didn't practice again this week. I believe he's going to be out again for this matchup with a hamstring. It's unfortunate. I like him. I want him to be in the league. I want him to be playing because I think him and Najee Harris are a good tandem. Him and Cordell Patterson would be a good tandem. I'll give it a wash on the wide receiver or running back room. It goes either way. It's going to depend on the offensive line play for these running backs. They aren't very stellar either way. People love to talk about Najee Harris, first round draft pick with the Steelers. They like to use him as a big name. He is a 1,000-yard rusher every year, and he does get the dirty yards. It's just he seems to struggle in moments and in times. So I give this a wash. And especially with our guys being hurt with Cordell Patterson if he doesn't play and we have to play with the backup. It's a wash. It's a wash. I need to see more out of Najee Harris before we sign him to another deal. Tight end Pat Freiermuth Our tight end room, I like way better than the Dallas Cowboys tight end room. I don't really know much about their backup in the Dallas tight end, but we need to start giving our Georgia Bulldogs more action. Way more action. I mean, Darnell Washington has a touchdown on the season when he made a great catch, and he had a phenomenal run last weekend where he just bulldozed people at his freakish size. Give that man the ball more. Give this man the ball more. They both need more targets. The Bulldogs need more targets in this in these uniforms. In this system, they need more targets. They proved time and time again that they need it. Pat Freiermuth went off last week. He had a good week. He scored a touchdown, had a couple yards on the ground, had a couple receiving targets. He did good. I like our tight end room as a whole versus the Dallas Cowboys tight end room. I don't know much about the Dallas Cowboys defense other than their linebacker or outside linebacker or defensive end Micah Parsons. But if I'm looking at their schedule here, I'll be honest, the Dallas Cowboys have been getting blown out in a lot of games, and we'll talk about that here in a little bit. We'll talk about that here in a little bit on the defensive side. I'm getting ahead of myself. I like our tight end room versus their tight end room. Simple as that. I think it's another weekend when the middle of the field needs to be used. Justin Fields can rely on Pat Freiermuth. Oh my God, Darnell Washington is a backup for when he needs that safety net. I like that. Offensive line, who am I kidding? We're hurt. We're playing with depth pieces. We've signed offensive linemen for more depth because we're so distraught at that position. We are hurt at that position. The good news is Isaac Seumalo is practicing this week, full participant, which is good news to hear. Bad news, James Daniels is out for the season. He has an Achilles tear. He's out for the season. He is by far a great guard in this league. Isaac Seumalo is a great guard in this league. We need those two guys. It is unfortunate the one is out for the season, but looking good that our second one is coming back. Our offensive line has been struggling. I give the Dallas Cowboys this matchup offensive line-wise. I don't hear much about them being terrible. That's good news. But, I mean, they have starters. They have quality people. They aren't all rookies on the line. So I'm giving that to them because we're a bunch of rookies, a bunch of New Year players. They got to gel. They got to mesh. And that's going to be the biggest factor, in my opinion, in this game. On both ends of the ball. What's going to make or break this game is offensive line play. Our offensive line holds up good enough to give Fields time to throw the ball, find receivers, give this running game a chance to get up and going, then we're good. I think we win this game. Now, if our offensive line is struggling and it shows that we're playing with rookies out there, I think we lose this game because they have some defensive game players on the front line to make a change in this game if we're not playing good enough. And we'll head right into that. Defense. We're just going to go defense in a whole here. Kind of going late on time, long on time here. We're going to go defense as a whole. I'm just going to go key matchup versus key matchup, key player versus key player. Starting off with Micah Parsons and TJ Watt. Micah Parsons is limited. He's not practicing this week. He limited in practice, did not practice. He's hurt with a high ankle sprain. I don't think if he can play, he's going to play. He's not going to miss this game. He's a competitor. He wants to play. He's going up against TJ Watt, who he says isn't even a top 5 edge rusher in this league. Sick. That is sick. Okay? I want TJ to absolutely dominate this game. So that way he can show Micah Parsons face to face that he's the better player. Micah Parsons disrespected that guy by saying, not recognizing him in this game. He was in the interview. Remember the interview? And he said, well, if you look at the statistics, technically, TJ Watt doesn't even blah, 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 Alex Highsmith. Yeah, fuck you, Micah Parsons. All right? TJ Watt clears you. He beats the brakes off you, and this is the week to show it. Oh, he's injured. He's not going to play at 100%. It's not going to be even. Shut your mouth. Excuses. TJ Watt gets held every play. TJ Watt, on 48% of his snaps, is getting double-teamed and or chipped. Last game, TJ Watt gets held the most than any player in this league that never gets called. They have to hold him, and the refs don't look at it because he's that much of a game wrecker. I take TJ Watt over Micah Parsons. Micah Parsons, I'm not going to say you're trash, but you suck at talking and you suck at reading statistics. Pissed off about that one. We'll go Joey Porter Jr., Trayvon Diggs. Shit. That's hard. Trayvon Diggs is more proven in this league. I don't know how much he is versus like a physical corner like Joey Porter Jr. is, because I know he's a ball hawk. Trayvon Diggs is definitely a ball hawk. 7 interceptions in 1 year, 6 interceptions 1 year, in like the first 6 games or something crazy like that. He's a ball hawk. They're both going to be traveling. I believe they're both traveling corners with their number 1 wide receiver. So this is another game where it's put up or shut up. You see your best versus my best. Who's better? I'm going to take JPJ just because I'm a homer. And Trayvon Diggs is a ball hawk. He likes to touch balls. That's gay. I'm going to take JPJ. I'm going to take JPJ. Over all of that. I mean, come on. Travel, shut down. And if JPJ shuts down CeeDee Lamb, I mean, fuck you, Trayvon Diggs. He's better. JPJ is going to be better if he shuts down CeeDee Lamb. That's going to be a great matchup. Can't wait to watch that on both ends of the ball. George Pickens versus Trayvon Diggs. CeeDee Lamb versus JPJ. That is a 5-star matchup all day, every day. I love that. All in all, I take this defensive front. I take this defense, Steelers defense, over the Dallas Cowboys defense, with or without Micah Parsons, because TJ Watt's more of a game changer than him. Yeah, I take our defense night and day versus theirs. Best defense in the league. Let's show it this week. You had a bad outing last week. Let's prove it this week by shutting down the Dallas Cowboys, America's team, in prime time. I want to see this whole team go off. I want to show that we're a threat in this league. I want to show that we're Super Bowl contenders instead of what people believe. I want to put on the national media, the national television, to believe in the Pittsburgh Steelers. This is y'all's time to shine. This is your time to prove it. Let's go out there Sunday Night Football and goddamn do it. Put up. Final score prediction. I think this is a shootout. I think we're going to be mad at the defense come Monday. As much as I'm talking shit, I think it's going to be a shootout. But I think the defense is going to stop them when they need to stop them, and we're not going to worry about it. And I think it's going to be through the air, both sides. I'm looking at 27-24. Just last week's score. We win by 3. Barely squeak it out at home by 3. Yeah, that's on 27-24. High stress game, high scoring. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be a thrill. TJ Watt's going to get him a sack. George Pickens is finally going to get him a touchdown on the season because he needs it. Justin Fields is going to look phenomenal. Dak Prescott's going to throw an interception. He's also going to look good. CeeDee Lamb's going to score a touchdown. I think this is going to be a great game for Sunday Night Football. Great matchup. And I can't wait. I'll be honest, boys. I'm down here in Texas right now. And I'm going out that night to the bar, to a wing joint, to scream at these Dallas Cowboys fans as we score touchdowns on this team. So don't embarrass me, Steelers. I do not want to look dumb here. I'm going to be yelling at these dudes' faces, telling them that Micah Parsons sucks and TJ Watt would eat them alive. Here we go, Steelers. Big time matchup. Let's win this game in prime time. Come back Monday, ecstatic, and showing it, and have the whole national media talking about us being Super Bowl contenders. That's my take on this matchup. You guys let me know what you guys think in the comments. What you guys have it, how you guys see the game, who you want winning, how you see it going. I'll see you guys come Monday with good news or bad news. Peace.